Suicide Squad is the third film in the DC Extended Universe franchise and is directed by David Ayer and stars Will Smith, Margot Robbie, Jared Leto, and among others, and is the third film in the DC Extended Universe films that started with Man of Steel and then Batman vs Superman. Now, a little backstory. Now, for those of you that don't know, this film was supposed to be pretty much, since the success of Batman vs Superman, we're starting to now get in the habit of seeing more DC films come out that's trying to set up a universe pretty much similar to how Marvel captured with their films. And what it is a story that goes where you have a group of criminals that are getting recruited by this woman named Amanda Waller, who gives them a chance to try to get less time in prison by going on this mission to pretty much take down this evil entity that is causing havoc around the city. And what they don't realize, and what happens is throughout the movie, is that they actually have these collars that make it to where if they actually try to leave or anything, they blow up.
Yeah.
And so that's why they're called Suicide Squad.
Yep.
Now, for those that, from what I've been seeing lately with the DC films, man, I'm starting to notice something with them, is that this is the kind of film that is either going to be a love or hate. A lot of critics didn't like it. It got sadly negative reviews, and I went into this film with very high expectations, and
I did too.
And I gotta admit, like, the movie really surprised me. So pretty much what you got is you have all these different series of characters that are going throughout, that we get introduced at the very beginning, kind of like a comic book.
Yeah, it's like a comic book.
Basically, you have them have their little titles that come up that's in the equivalent of reading a comic page, where it tells them their backstory and everything.
Yeah.
We get Deadshot,
which was pretty good.
Yeah,
I did like that.
Because you got, like, for example, you got Deadshot, who's played by Will Smith, and he's going through an arc where he's trying to get back to seeing his daughter, which is a big thing, because we find out that there's a story involving him and his daughter where he's trying to reconcile her, and because he's been in prison so long from being an assassin, he has to...
Well, he gets caught, and Batman catches him, so we get some glimpses of Batman in this film.
Yeah, we do.
Where it was pretty cool. I did like that. We get a glimpse of Batman actually capturing Deadshot. Deadshot had a chance to run, but his daughter wanted him to stop doing what he does for a living, and he gave himself up.
Yeah, and it's the same thing that happens with Harley Quinn, because Harley Quinn, of course, for everyone who's familiar with the animated series and the comics, she started out as a psychiatrist working for Arkham, and she fell in love with the Joker because he had that psychotic side to himself. And there's a lot of things in this film that I really do love, but then there's going to be some things that we talk about later on that could have worked a lot better. But for the things we love, I gotta admit, like, the cast, phenomenal. Will Smith did a great job playing Deadshot. I thought it was cool seeing him back on the big screen again, playing his... I
gotta agree, I did like the cast. I'm actually surprised Jared Leto, I'm not going to compare him to the past Jokers. I thought he did well for his own Joker. I thought he was going to be trash, because DC's not been doing very good with their villains lately.
Yeah.
AKA fucking... Lex Luthor, fucking Jesse
Joker,
Eisenberg.
Joker number 2.
Yeah, God. But anyways, I gotta say that Jared Leto, for his own Joker, per se, what he did with Joker, I was down for it, because I think he did good. Now, if I had to rank him, I gotta say that Heath Ledger blew out of the water what he did, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna look at what he did for his own role.
Yeah,
he did good.
I'm the same way. Like, I do like Jared Leto's Joker. I think that, shockingly, though, we'll get to it later, I wish we could have had more screen time.
Yeah, that was my downfall. Is the less. Well, there's other little itsy bitsy stuff, not too much to worry about. But like you said, that screen time, they could have done a lot bit better.
They would have had, but for what they give him, I was still down for it, because I do want to see
what they gave him was down for, but that was the problem. They underachieved it by letting him in the role for such small periods.
Well,
but they promote him so much in the
in the trailers he actually had more lines, and plus they had different footage that was little glimpses were cut out.
Now, my biggest praise in this film was Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
She nailed this part. I actually fucking love her, dude. She nailed, like, Margot, she nailed this fucking part 100%.
Yeah, she did. I really love the the kind of the accent they give her for like Harley Quinn in some parts, but
she
also the crazy manipulative side where she's trying to get back to Joker. That captured it so well from the
I can't wait to see her standalone film, which was supposed to get 2018, 19,
something like that. Yeah. But yeah, the way that she's going through everything and how she's kind of fucking with the team in some parts.
And she made me laugh too.
She does, yeah.
But she has a menacing part of her that I did.
A lot of her banter with Deadshot works well too, with her and Will Smith. You know,
but she does that. The tone that we're so used to in the animated series and the what you read in the Arkham games and what you read in the comic books, she nails that. Yeah, like out of the ballpark. She's the best. I think she's the best of this film.
Yeah, I don't think she could. No one else could have played her besides her.
Yeah,
and what I also love too is some of the other squad members. Like you also had Rick Flag, played by Joel Kinnaman. I thought he pulled it off pretty well.
They all nailed their parts.
Also, I also enjoyed Diablo. Played by Joel. What was his name? Something Hernandez. He pulled it off pretty well. I love this story they give. Like we reveal later on what happens because you find out. We're not going to spoil anything because it'll be a different video. There's a story that involves him of why he has his powers.
Yeah, why and stuff, which is pretty good. But I like Will Smith a lot too in this. He's my second favorite out of this. I thought they gave his emotional impact to the story of what he went through with his daughter, like the crap that, like the shit he went through was pretty.
Yeah.
Like it was pretty sad, and to see that she wants her dad to stop doing what he's doing, and he doesn't. He can't stop.
Yeah, because he's an assassin.
Yeah, he's an assassin. It's something he's good at.
But
he's also like sitting there regulating his life, and should he stop because he loves his daughter so much, or should he keep going doing what he does best?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There are also other. That's what I love too. I love the art they give him and Harley Quinn, and you also get some glimpses here and there of what they could have done with some of the characters, but sadly we didn't really get to see much of it because the film, as it goes along, you're starting to see like little snippets here and there. Like another thing I also give praise to, for the first time ever, I can say this is the first film I really loved.
Jai Courtney.
Jai Courtney in this because he perfectly cast as Boomerang.
Jai Courtney, he works well as like a co-star, like kind of like the guy in the background, but can work into a co-star actor. I was disappointed in most of his performances. Terminator Genesis,
Good Day
to Die Hard, horrible. But I mean, this guy is actually, at least I could say that he's getting some of the acting practices with films, and his performance in this is actually pretty funny.
Yeah, and plus also it helps that he's using his own accent because the character himself is Australian.
Yeah.
So, and I also love that thing they're doing kind of like off of Deadpool where he's getting the little bunny rabbits and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny. But yeah, he was really great. And I also loved Viola Davis as Amanda Waller.
And I like how he had like it was something about him wanting a pony.
Yeah.
He loved a pony doll.
That's what he had. The
pony doll is what it was. Yeah.
And I also enjoyed Viola Davis. I thought she captured the really kind of bitchy, but really down to the point, Amanda Waller. Because you don't want to mess with this woman.
Actually, I kind of like her, man. She's actually a really good actress. We've seen her, I believe. She was the one that was in Law Abiding Citizen. Was she?
I think so. I have to.
I got to rewatch that, but she's been in a lot of good films, and she's actually a pretty good actress.
Yeah.
And I thought she fit the role.
Yeah, and you also have. You also get other characters that pop here and there. You also get Slipknot, played by a guy who was actually from Joe Dirt. He played Kicking
I know, he's the Kicking League for the Joe Dirt's 1 and 2. He back for second one, but
and then you have Enchantress, played by I don't know how to pronounce his name.
A lot of this films, believe it or not, there's a lot of people in this film that, even though we get some good like mainstream actors, but we get a lot of people I've never really.
They've had like smaller roles, like Kara. I don't know how you pronounce her last name, but the woman who played Enchantress, she was in some like other minor roles.
She kind of looks like Christina Ricci.
Yeah, which I enjoy what they do set up with Enchantress. Because I like the fact that she has that look where she like that thing they do with her.
I like who she is as far as like the powers. I thought that the movie kind of rushed on her character alone, which kind of bothered me. And I gotta agree with a lot of fans out there. Yeah, because of her lack of story, we're pretty much throwing boom, like it's like it just came so fast, which.
I can see that. I mean,
yeah, it kind of bothered me.
But also, what I also love too, because the whole cast does great for the most part.
Yeah.
Now, another thing I also love that I'm actually one of the few who loves pretty much all of it. I love the soundtrack. Every song they use, in every scene, I think really worked well with what was happening.
Yeah, the soundtrack, I have no problem.
Especially how they're mixing a lot of like classic rock and some like upbeat tunes we have nowadays. But I thought that every song they used worked with that scene.
Yeah.
You know? Especially at the beginning when we're introduced to Harley Quinn, where it plays that song like "You Don't Own Me," because it actually fits which was actually a classic song from the '60s.
Yeah.
And you also get, you get your Leonard Skinner,
Queen,
Bohemian Rhapsody. You get like For a Fortunate Son, CCR.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So
it's a good soundtrack.
Really great. Yeah. And also love the gritty look they have. But
no, I love the gritty look. And I also love the color they give us in the theme of that movie. It's so Joker-like, and that's the weird how they mix it together with the blackness and the grittiness. I do like the visuals.
But also, that's with the way they look for it. I can see now that with DC, what they're doing, they're trying to mix more fun with their movies,
which is cool. I'm fun. I do like the funness, and this movie does have a fun and serious tone, which I can like both.
Yeah.
Now, here's something I do like. That some of the comedy they have in this. They have the guy from Neighbors 2. This dude, for a short period of time he has in this film, I think he's so underrated as a comedian.
He is. He's really hilarious. Makes me like at the beginning when he's saying to Harley Quinn, he's like, "Yeah, last time we had our guards in there, or something like that, where we had to shock you." Yeah. So when it was the part where she goes up to the bars and she gets shocked.
Yeah.
And
that was funny.
But that's what I'm saying. Like the comedy they use in this really does work because now coming off of the critical failure of Batman vs Superman, which was pretty much played too dark, it seemed like DC is now trying to make it to where they're trying to add more humor in the spite of
going pure dark,
basically instead of going like following Marvel's footsteps. Which I understand. I know fanboys can pretty much say that's kind of ripping them off, but you got to think. I mean, they have to mix it up.
My only complaint is about fans on these movies, DC, and why I like DC more. I hear the most bitch. People don't like DC for its like really darkness. I actually fucking think
I do too. I realize that
comics.
I realize that sometimes
I'm sorry, we've seen a kid version of Batman. Those movies were bad. All the kid versions. You had to start with Forever, which was and then you had Batman Robin, which is one of like top 5 all-time worst superhero films ever made.
Well, and also...
And those were trying to do Marvel way. It just doesn't work with the universe. I think DC works. You can add comedy, but I think DC works dark.
And that's why I think there's hope for this kind of universe are set up. Because what I also love, too, with this one, with Suicide Squad, is that they set up the universe in great ways by following the events of the previous film. I like the universe they set up with it, with tying everything together. Because... basically how the story as it goes, they're on their way trying to survive, because what happens is one of the villains, which we won't spoil, basically causes them to go on this mission, and they have to work together as a team, even though they're criminals, and
they have problems with each other in somewhat ways, but they got to work as a team to all survive together so they can all earn their freedoms.
Yeah. And as it goes along, I think that for the most part, a lot of the story I was following, but I could see a lot of what fans were talking about as far as things left out. Because because now I'll get to some of my cons. Like the movie does have a lot of edits here and there that do really cut out. Now, not quite as much as Batman vs Superman, where it's all fucking jumping over the place.
Difference is Batman vs Superman actually edited out all their main plots, which really can destroy a film. Here they didn't do that, but what they did that was kind of messy was they edit some shit leading up to it. So our version in theaters that we're seeing is they're getting to the fight scenes so quick, and I'm like, that was my one of my complaints about the film. I felt like the whole bets off kind of earn your way to the villain, to the battle, kind of really was not there, because they were just moving in so easy up to the point.
I could say that, but at the same time, I still went with it because there are parts in the film where they have to make sure they're alive. Because for one, there are points where if one of them dies, they realize they're fucked. So,
well, Rick Flag dies.
Well, no, he doesn't die. But
no, if he dies, then they're really fucked.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Every time he gets an action,
because he's the one that's got because they're one in his ass, but
because they're always attacking him, and Will Smith, Deadshot's like, we got to make sure Flag's alive.
Yeah.
So, and another con I did have too was, and this is more of just a minor thing, I do kind of wish they could have done more, like we said with Joker, because this is basically going by the editing overall.
Yeah.
Because there are parts where I could see could have went longer. Like, for example, remember that part where he's interrogating the dude from Neighbors 2?
That could have went longer. All of his scenes really could have went longer. Even the scene where he goes, "What we have here," you know, where he's done, that was in the trailer where he's got the electro, the thing. What we really see in the trailer is really, really. It was not an extended scene. It was like that. I complain a lot.
Now the difference, though, as far as like his parts, the scenes that were cut out, I'm actually one of the few that didn't mind his relationship with Harley.
No, I do like his relationship with Harley. Because I love the fact that my only bitch is there wasn't enough relationship with them. I want to see more detail.
Well,
I want to see what kind of led in. I want to see her demise. I want to see her going from like part of society. I'm a psychiatrist. I want to see what Joker actually did to her mind. I mean, I like what they gave us in some of the scenes. I really like the part where where she falls in the acid.
I love that scene.
That's one of my favorite parts of the movie.
And I also love this scene with
where he's talking to her when he's in a straitjacket.
Yeah,
I like all the scenes with them, what they gave us, but it felt very incomplete too at the same time, which we don't get much story.
Well, that's why I feel like, and this is one of my biggest complaints, is the fact that the studio, because they seen the success of Deadpool, they wanted to do reshoots that involved with trying to do more of the comedy, which granted it still works in the film. It's just that the studio got involved and took away a lot of scenes from Ayer, and Ayer was like, yeah, they took away a lot of my shit because I had a different version going for it. You know.
Anyways,
And another thing I have a problem with is they could have had a better motivation for the villain, because what they give us is interesting.
The motivation.
It's interesting what they do with it, but at the same time, like, you could have done so much more.
Yeah, that's why I said earlier. I think the villain just feels very incomplete because you don't know any backstory. Like whenever they're fighting some of her soldiers, I don't even know what they are. I don't know who they are. I don't where she's really from, other than that small plot of the backstory of her. That very small. That's the thing that had a lot of problems with this film. I understand they're building a universe, and I'm sure they'll fix and we'll learn more in the future. But as far as what this movie started out, they started out with characters which they pretty much do a quick backstory, just in and out, and I have a hard time and want to enjoy a character when I don't know who the person
I can understand, but that's where you disagree with, because for what they did with those characters, I was going along more with, because I could see what they were doing as far as their story. But also, what works the most is you have all the fantastic chemistry of all of them
they got good chemistry, everything. But some of the scenes also were very sporadic, like in a lot of parts, like we get signs of we get scenes where they're getting ready to fight, right? So they're fighting, boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna describe the scenes. Then,
no, keep going.
Then we get boom, they're in a fucking bar, and then they're fighting, and they're boom, and another. I'm like, fuck. I guess you could say that's an editing issue, because it's it feels like they're editing it so bad that it's just the scenes feel like they're jumping all over the place.
In some parts, yes, I agree with some of the action. That's only probably a couple. Now, for the most of the action they use is pretty awesome. Like the scenes where you got Deadshot shooting all those dudes at one point.
The fights are cool. The fights are cool. I'm just saying, they're whenever they go from fight scene to bar scene.
Right.
And then it's okay, you're in the middle of a fight, you decide to just chill out.
Yeah, but that scene for me though worked, because it also gave us at least the only time where the characters can actually have a point where they're actually interacting with themselves and giving us more of that impact that we'll see later on.
But anyways, we're going to have a spoiler review. We'll describe more about this film.
Yeah, but overall, I really do love it. I'm going to give the movie an 8.75.
I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, so we hope you guys. We do thank you guys for watching us with this review. And if you have seen Suicide Squad already, give us those thoughts on what you thought in comment below. And we'll be having another spoiler review coming up here soon. And if you like us, what you see on here, you can check us out on YouTube. And we'll be having our spoiler review here soon. We'll see you guys later.